Throughout Pokemon's long history, there have been many Pokemon who are created by human beings. Many of them may surprise you, while others are more obvious. This video will tell you exactly what Pokemon is made by a human, and some of them may just surprise you. Coming up first is, of course, the number one, the OG Mewtwo. I don't even think I need to give an explanation or an introduction to this Pokemon, because everybody knows him. And if you don't know him, are you sure? Are you sure you don't know him? Mewtwo is an artificial Pokemon that is the genetic clone of Mew. Its origin of how it was created is in the first Pokemon movie, and even hints about it is in the Pokemon games. While Mewtwo isn't the first Pokemon to ever be created by humans, it's still the most popular one. When people are told about man-made Pokemon, they immediately think of Mewtwo. Coming up next actually is the first man-made Pokemon, and that is both Baltoy and Claydol. While the origins of these two Pokemon are still unknown, they are still the first man-made Pokemon ever created, being made about 20,000 years ago. While it's unknown how this ancient civilization created both Baltoy and its evolved form Claydol, it's still unbelievable to know that the first ever Pokemon created by human beings was 20,000 years ago. Not to mention that not only is Baltoy and Claydol ground types, but they are also psychic type as well, meaning that the ancient civilization, while also being smart enough to create life, was also smart enough to create life with psychic abilities, which is just absolutely insane. Next up on this list is the Pokemon Golett and Golurk. While they were only made a couple thousand years ago and not as old as Claydol or Baltoy, they are still man-made, and it's pretty impressive how this ancient civilization put an unknown energy source to power these Pokemon. And even though it's an unknown power source, we can probably guess that it was some sort of spiritual energy based to these Pokemon being both ground and ghost type. While other than that, not much is known about them, all we do know is that Golett still follow orders that their masters gave them those many years ago. Next up is all three Porygon, Porygon 2, and of course, Porygon Z. All three of these Pokemon were created by a computer program. To get Porygon 2, you have to trade Porygon holding the upgrade item. And then to obtain Porygon Z, you have to trade Porygon 2 again holding the dubious disc. It's an amazing idea where Porygon literally gets an upgrade and then Porygon 2 is just glitched out. All three Pokemon are just straight normal type. However, they hold a unique ability known as Trace, which allows them to copy the opponent's ability. Meaning even though they seem pretty basic and, well, normal, their ability can be sometimes sturdy, sometimes poison point, sometimes damp, sometimes even pressure. Meaning this Pokemon can essentially have every kind of ability. Now if that's not pretty cool, I don't know what is. But why was this line of Pokemon even created in the first place? Well, it's hinted at and explained that the entire Porygon line was specifically created to aid in space exploration. How a computer program would help with that, I have no idea. But it worked when this Pokemon decided to become real. Kind of like Pokemon's own version of Pinocchio. Sort of. The next man-made Pokemon on this list, which some of you may not know, is actually Castform. Yes, believe it or not, this guy and all of his forms are actually man-made Pokemon. I think it's pretty obvious on why this Pokemon was created, but I'll still explain it anyways. It was made to help understand the weather and possibly predict the weather with forecasts. A forecast being its ability to transform into any one of these sunny day, rainy day, or snowy day forms, depending on the appropriate weather, of course. Castform is a Pokemon that is shaped like a water molecule, 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. And while it does start out as normal type, once the weather changes, it changes to either fire, water, or ice type. These changes depend on the weather being set up by sunny day, rain dance, or hail. And its signature move, which is Weather Ball, also changes types depending on the weather as well. All in all, Castform's a pretty neat little guy. The next Pokemon I'm going to bring up on this list is Genesect. Genesect is an ancient Pokemon that is unknown still. This is because it was actually modified with cyborg enhancements by Team Plasma, and it was modified so much that no one could tell what the original Pokemon is supposed to be. Genesect is Bug and Steel type with a unique ability known as Download. Now, Download was Porygon's signature ability up until Generation 5 when Genesect was revealed. And although Download itself has been changed throughout the generations, its current description states that the Pokemon downloads the other Pokemon's defense or special defense stat and then raises its own attack or special attack stat depending on what defensive stat is lower. So if your special defense is lower than your defense, then Genesect's special attack will raise up. Not only does it have this special ability, but it also has a signature move known as Technoblast. You see, Genesect is almost like Arceus in the sense that you can give it different drives with different types on them. These types of drives will change the typing of Genesect's Technoblast move. And although Genesect is a clean Bug and Steel type, its Technoblast move is originally normal, but because of Technoblast's nature, you can give Genesect a water drive and then it won't have to worry about fighting fire-type Pokemon. However, even though it can change the typing of Technoblast depending on the drive it's given, it only has access to 4 drives, that being the Burn Drive, Chill Drive, Douse Drive, and Shock Drive, changing Technoblast's type to Fire, Ice, Water, or Electric. Genesect is a pretty powerful mythical Pokemon and the only Bug-type mythical Pokemon there is. However, in the future, I do wish to see more types for Technoblast added to his arsenal. Next on the list is, of course, Magearna. Magearna is a Steel and Fairy type mythical Pokemon whose overall design looks like some sort of robotic maid. It's even classified as the artificial Pokemon, and its signature ability is called Soul Heart. Soul Heart boosts Magearna's special attack for every Pokemon she defeats. Magearna was created 500 years ago by a man named Nicola. And Magearna also has 2 different forms. Its normal silver form, and then its red and gold form known as its original form. These forms do absolutely nothing in gameplay and are simply just a cosmetic change. However, both the normal and original form have their own versions of shinies. Magearna was only handed out as a QR code special for Sun and Moon, but it can be transferred to Pokemon Home and then to Sword and Shield and onward. Magearna is a really unique Pokemon, and honestly, it would be really cool if there are more forms of Magearna with different colors. That would be pretty cool and something I'd really love to see in the future. Before I reveal the last man-made Pokemon, I want to go over some Pokemon who you could argue aren't man-made, but the same argument could be made for them being man-made. These Pokemon are Banette, Voltorb, Electrode, Trubbish, and Garbodor. All of these Pokemon have arguments for how they could and could not be created by humans. I personally think that none of these are created by humans, but this is my personal opinion, and the rest is up to you. So without further ado, I am going to speed through these Pokemon just really quickly. Banette is a child's doll who was thrown away and discarded once the child got too old. It then became vengeful and decided to haunt the child. I don't think this is man-made because the child itself did not make the doll haunted. The child did not point to the doll and say, hey, you're a ghost now. Voltorb and Electrode have strong arguments for they could be man-made. They were first discovered at a Pokemon power plant, but were they really? The answer is no. No, they were not. Because in Pokemon Legends Arceus, we find out that there is Hisuian Voltorb and Hisuian Electrode, both of which are electric grass types. Legends Arceus, of course, taking place in the past, where there is no electricity or power plants of the such, so they can't possibly be man-made. Trubbish and Garbodor are both created when a whole bunch of trash and sewage and everything else that's nasty gets exposed to the moon's X-rays and lights, making the trash come to life. Now obviously you can say that the trash and sewage and everything is by humans, and you'd be right, but we didn't expose them to that moonlight. I mean, we did, just not on purpose. And this also raises a question, has the moon's X-rays created other Pokemon besides Garbodor and Trubbish? Maybe, but who knows. The last Pokemon that is known to be man-made is of course Type Null and its evolution Silvally. Type Null and its evolution Silvally were both created to fight off Ultra Beasts, deadly creatures from an alternate dimension called Ultra Space, which we learned about in Pokemon Sun and Moon and learned more about in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. We don't know exactly what type Null is based off of, but we do know that it is a combination of a whole bunch of different animals, shaped together in sort of a Frankenstein chimera kind of creature. The helmet it wears on its head is actually a power dampener. It wears it so its power doesn't get out of control. The Aether Foundation created Type Null and Silvally to sort of mimic Arceus. Arceus being the creator of the Pokemon universe. And as such, Silvally is able to have these things called RKS discs. Once inserted or held by Silvally, it is able to change its type to whatever disc you have inserted. Normally a normal type Pokemon, if you give it a fighting RKS drive, it'll turn into a fighting type Pokemon. Or a water type RKS disc, it'll turn into a water type Silvally. The possibilities are endless, with all different types being available. While in games and in the anime it's said to evolve, Type Null actually doesn't evolve into Silvally. You see, Silvally is always there as a Pokemon. Its powers is just dampened by the helmet it wears, and once its helmet breaks, it quote-unquote evolves. And there you have it. That was every single man-made Pokemon. Obviously, there will be more man-made Pokemon in the future, but this is what we have as of Generation 8. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking, subscribing, and commenting down below. The support really means the world to me, and you don't have to if you don't want to. And with that, have a great rest of your day, and stay safe.